I've got a new shampoo called Empathy. You put it on your hair and it goes, I know, I know. Anyway.
Ladies and gentlemen, Barry Cryer.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great to meet you.
Hello, hello.
Have a seat.
Pleasure.
And you've just come off stage?
Yeah, just.
Just.
Yes.
You composed?
I'm composed.
Yeah.
As opposed to decomposed.
Yeah, as opposed to that. How was it? Good night?
It was a good night. As you weren't there, it was fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. And how many Edinburgh shows have you done now?
I first came here 20 years ago with Willie Rushton at the Hill Street venue. So I've been coming on and off for 20 years. Gilded Balloon for many years with Karen Corran. I don't know whether she's here or not. Best boss you could ever have.
Yeah. People may or may not know this, but you've got a connection to Michael McIntyre, right?
Mike McIntyre is the son of the late Red Cameron, with whom I wrote all the Kenny Everett shows.
Right.
So I knew Mike when he, So all this, they're sniping at Mike now, other comedians who shall be nameless.
Right.
But, we've all got our own audience, as Mike said. He was on Desert Island Disc saying, no, obviously it hurts, but I just try and make people laugh. You don't have to find me funny, somebody else you find funny.
But it's an interesting thing. I heard Michael McIntyre from about 4 years ago on BBC 4 Extra or BBC 7, and whatever you say about him, his comedy is genuinely funny.
Yes.
It may not suit the rest of us to celebrate.
But who doesn't it suit?
Nothing suits
it's
everybody.
It's the comedy industry that have a problem. Like, the audience love him.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's right.
But I think that's what makes other comedians...
Could have been slight envy involved here.
A little bit.
Just a wee bit.
Yeah,
no, Mike, it's a bubbly, effervescent personality who's hit a really big mainstream audience. Good luck to him. He's a hard worker. He's a really good comic. And as he says, you don't have to laugh at me. I've got my audience, you've got yours,
Now, you've already alluded to the fact that you wrote for just about everybody. You've mentioned Eric and Ernie. Who else gave you a lot of pleasure to write for?
Well, I mentioned Kenny Everett because he was the only non-comedian I ever wrote for. He was Kenny Everett. Right. He was like 3D coming out of the screen at you.
Yeah.
You very rarely see him on terrestrial television now repeated. But he was a one-off. He was Kenny Everett. And, years ago, he always called me Bar, and he called me Henri Gay, friend of the family, which I thought was lovely. And years ago, I was already then married over 30 years of 4 children, and Ev, as we called him, looked at me one day and said, "Ooh, Bar." He said, "You were married over 30 years of 4 children. What a smokescreen."